And I got a break because I had it at 3.5, and he scored the touchdown at the end. Thank God for that.
Here you go.
It always comes down to that.
It always comes down to that. You're a degenerate.
The bottom line is.
Degenerate.
The bottom line is. Degenerate.
All right. Welcome to the show. The final countdown. The final straw. The final battle. The final 2-game weekend of the NFL season, and the final opportunity for us to close out the picks contest. A lot of drama in the picks contest. Hotly contested picks contest. So let's just do a recap of where we are in the standings. An incredible, incredible season, culminating with the first consequential conference championship weekend in Fly Degenerates history. This is the first time it has not been sewn up by conference championship weekend, so this should be interesting because current standings, after 8 straight weeks in first place, Flex on the verge of a historic collapse.
He's
fallen out of first place by 0.5 point. Still has the best record, 30, 33-1 after the push from the Eagles and the Rams at 6 points. And we got lucky because that by the time that game kicked off, that line was 7. We make our picks on Thursdays.
I know.
That would have been a word life victory right there. Because if you would have been on them at 6.5 or 7, you would have got that push, and we would have had a whole different ball game.
Right.
And not only that, but also the Chiefs one as well. You would have won that one. You would have lost the Chiefs one because by the time the Chiefs kicked off, they were bigger favorites.
Yeah, 9, I think. 9 or 9.5.
Yes, and you were given the 8.5. You would have gave the 9. You would have lost it. So it's a very, very fickle season. But yes, Flex, 59 points after not getting a point since the infamous Captain Disagree superhero made an appearance. 0-7-1. Collapse like the Falcons against the Patriots.
Dang.
Word life.
Fumble Rooski.
Hell of a season. Kind of the creeping and waiting. Never really fell out of it. Just kind of consistently inconsistent. Total record 26, 36, and 2 pushes. For 58.5 points, 0.5 point behind Flex. And then there's me with a touchdown streak to save the day.
Right.
59.5 points, same record as Word Life, 26, 36, and 2, but I've allocated my points wisely. But it all comes down to this. We can throw all the records out, throw all the touchdown picks out, throw all the points out. It's all going to come down to these games. Whoever gets these games the best is going to emerge victorious. I will start it off. I'll start it off here. Commanders going to Philadelphia. The line, I believe, is still 6. So we still at 6.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we have this right. All right, 6 points. Commanders getting 6 points on the road. There's never been a rookie quarterback to make the Super Bowl. Rookie quarterback has never won championship game. I got to tell you, after I took the Commanders to cover against the Lions. I never thought that they would win, but I did think that they had an opportunity at that backdoor cover. I didn't like the 2-possession spread, 8.5. This is not quite that big. Everything here for me is pointed to the Eagles. I can't really make a case for the Commanders to win. The only thing that the only advantage, slight advantage that the Commanders have in this game is that they have a few hours extra rest. It's not huge, but it's not nothing. I don't think it's nothing. I think people will look at that like it doesn't matter. I don't think it's nothing. But Eagles, I think, have played at home for 5 straight weeks. Commanders been on the road forever. Commanders went into Florida, and then they went indoors. This is going to be their first outdoors game in a while in the cold. I don't think the Commanders have a chance to win this game. But I can't lay 6 with the Eagles against Jaden Daniels. I just can't do it. I got to take the Commanders. I got to take the 6. I don't really have any reason behind it. Everything I see points to Eagles, but everything I see points to Eagles winning the game. And I just feel like the Eagles don't care how they win the game. They don't care if Jalen Hurts throws the ball one time. They'll ride Saquon Barkley in ball control. They'll win a 3-0 game. They'll win a 6-3 game. They don't care. And I just feel like the Commanders, they got the whole house money thing going for them. I think they'll be loose. And I just feel like I don't want to. I went into this weekend looking at both of these games thinking, what pick can I accept getting wrong? What pick can I live with myself if I get it wrong? And I could live with it if I take the Commanders and they don't cover. I think the Eagles will win the game. They may win the game by 6, but just the way that they've been playing, and especially what I saw towards the end of that last game, it got real dicey for them towards the end of that game against the Rams. And I didn't think the Rams really were going to have much of a chance in that game, to be honest. So I was surprised. I was impressed with the Rams. Was underwhelmed by the Eagles. I still think the Eagles have the firepower to punch the Commanders in the mouth. But I just feel like if Jaden Daniels gets the ball first and puts a touchdown on the board, it's going to change everything. And if I'm sitting there if I got the Eagles and I'm giving 6 points and I'm down 7-0 in the first quarter, I'm already going to be sick to my stomach. Meanwhile, if the opposite happens and the Eagles come out and they score first, and I know I got Jaden Daniels the whole rest of the game with the opportunity to come back, I'll feel much better with that. I want to watch the game with that lens. I don't think the Commanders can win, and maybe they do get blown out, but I've seen enough from Jaden Daniels. I said it last week. I can't go against this kid just because what he's able to do in the 2-minute drill doesn't seem like anybody's figured him out yet. Vic Fangio hasn't figured him out yet. I don't love that it's a division matchup and that there's familiarity there, but it can kind of go the other way too. The Commanders are familiar with the Eagles as well, so a little bit of a wash there. Again, I don't think the Commanders really have a chance to win the game, and everything I see points to the Eagles, but I'm not comfortable giving the 6, man. I just feel like they'll find some way. If nothing else, maybe it lands on 6 and they push. But I don't want to be sitting there giving 6 with the Eagles when I know that the Eagles are not even really looking to be explosive, not really looking to put points on the board. They're looking for ball control. They're looking for ground and pound. They're looking for Jalen Hurts to not make mistakes. They don't want to put the ball in his hands and put the game on his shoulders. And if that's how they're going to play the game, 6 is just going to be too big of a number for me to lay. So I'm taking the Commanders. I don't think they win, but 6 points I think is enough for a cover. And that's what I'm going with. Taking the Commies plus the 6.
Nice. Yeah, man, I agree with a lot of what you said, man. It's tough because, like, if you at the end of the game, if you tell me Washington hung in there and kept it within 6, I could believe it. But if you sit here and tell me that Saquon went crazy and the defense was too much for the Commies and they win by fucking 20, or 15 or 11 or 12, I can see that too. So it's like it's a tough one. But I'm not gonna let my hate for the Eagles, um, you know, overwhelm me and then make me pick the wrong team. I'm actually gonna go with the Eagles. Um, I just think that O line, the commies losing that guard is a big loss for them. Um, they need to be healthy right here against this defensive front. Um, the only reason that I could see the commies being in there is having to rely on the passing game. The Eagles have been letting all these teams in, and honestly, this is my opinion, obviously, but if I feel strongly about it, if that weather's not in that, if it's not snowing like that, and they had to rely on Hurts a little bit more, I don't think they get out of there. I think the Rams would be in this position right now. They couldn't throw the ball at the end with the snow and everything, and it hurt them to get back in that game. But if it wasn't snowing, I think the Rams would have got back in that game, and it could have been it would have been a different outcome. That's my opinion on it. But I'm still going Eagles. I see that D line just being too disruptive. And they're a second half team, man. They just ground and pound. Eventually, Saquon breaks one to the house, and he's done it all year. So, give me Philadelphia.
Well, I'm gonna have to go with the Washington Commanders. Nice. You guys touched on most of the good points. The thing with the Commanders is, like, you guys alluded to the weather, but it's gonna be 40 in the 40s on Sunday, so it's not gonna be as bad as it was this past weekend. So, I mean, granted, who knows how they handle this outdoor weather, because even though they do play in DC, they haven't played there. So it's not like we've seen them in like this environment with these stakes yet. But I mean, it's not it's not crazy. So I don't think the weather's going to be that much of a factor. And that's 2 games that the Eagles have won. I guess it could be a testament to how good of a team they are, but it's 2 playoff games in a row where they haven't looked great and still managed to win the game. Had Los Angeles started the game off a little bit better, I think that would have been scary for the Eagles, because at one point it kind of looked like they were going to lose the game. Yeah. That's what I was starting to feel, and that's not necessarily what you would think. As the weather got worse, the Rams played better, which doesn't really make sense. It's kind of like the opposite of what we kind of predicted would happen. But I mean, Jaden Daniels, man, every time we see him, at what point do we stop doubting his ability to keep the team in the game no matter what? Now, you also mentioned their guard that I guess he tore his ACL. Yeah. I forget what his name is or whatever, but they still have a decent O-line. And I do think that they're going to have to do something about Jalen Carter, especially coming up the middle with that loss at interior guard, because the way he was wrecking the game, that's a problem. But I don't know, man. At some point, I just think that maybe the game plan is get rid of the ball quicker. Like maybe they start doing some of the reverses and just buying time. They do have a lot of. They don't have any. I mean, Terry McLaurin is a very good player, but the way that the other players have kind of like emerged, like Daimi Brown out of nowhere, like Zacchaeus, Jamison Crowder all of a sudden is a big part. Like, not a big part, but he does make big plays, and like seemingly when they need him to. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, man. I just don't. I don't think that that the Eagles have impressed me enough to be able to give up six points to a division opponent. Because if this game was like during the regular season, I I mean, I don't have the numbers of the spreads when they met in the regular season, but I just don't. These division opponents, the divisional games, the third time they're playing this year, they're 1-1. So it's like I just don't think that it's going to be a blowout for the Eagles the way that they've been playing, and I think at the end it's Jaden Daniels is going to make it close some way somehow, be that a backdoor cover or some way. Find a way to make it close at the end, and for that reason, I got to take the Commanders, man. I still do think the Eagles win, but I just don't think 6 points is just too much for me to give up for a division opponent at this point of the season. And just there's not that many, the weather isn't crazy. So I don't know. Just give me the Commanders getting 6 points against the Eagles. I'll take that to the bank. So for the big daddy of the Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills, Mahomes, Allen, what everybody wanted to see, seemingly even the NFL referees, considering the way that they called the game for the Chiefs. They always get the calls, but I think this is what everybody was kind of banking on seeing at the end, either this one or the Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. I hate to do this, man, but give me the Bills and Josh Allen, man, getting 1.5. They kind of showed that they could play in the crappy weather. It's not really what they're, even though they play in Buffalo, it's not really what they've shown that they're, like the cold weather type of team that kind of plays that kind of football that you kind of associate with cold weather. And the defense at the end of the game seemed like it was trying to give that game away. After Lamar didn't play very well in the first half, it kind of settled in a little bit. The defense kind of looked like what I thought the defense was going to look like the whole game. But they did have a better half. They did have a better first half than I thought they would. And if they could play similarly, this is not a Chiefs. This is not a Chiefs offense that really scares you much. I know Pacheco really hasn't looked the same since he came back. The running game the running game looks off. It doesn't. You don't get those big runs like we saw last year during those runs, and I don't know, man. I just think that the way that the defensive line for the Buffalo Bills, they have been playing a little bit better. I mean, I saw, Oliver, Ed Oliver was popping up, Rousseau was popping up. You had Von Miller show up a couple times, and then the linebackers, they kept making a big deal out of it. But Matt Milano made that tip on that pass that Lamar got on Lamar's interception. So it was his incompletion. I don't know. I just think they played just good enough to win, and the spread is close enough to where I just think, that one, it's not going to be a 1 point game in my opinion. So I just think that the Bills are playing better. It's not the team that we saw at the beginning of the year. And although the Chiefs haven't lost much this year at all, the whole season kind of feels like they were kind of begging to lose at some point. And it's just that they made the right plays at the right moments at all times. Granted, that's a skill. I can't say that that's luck or anything like that, but just that they take advantage of everything. And I just think that this is a matchup. This is not the Texans. Like last week, the final score kind of looked a little, made the game look a little more lopsided than it really was. But the whole time, the Texans were in this game the whole time, and I think that the Chiefs have been begging to be beat all year, and we've had Josh Allen and the Bills come up close a couple times. Maybe this is just how the story goes, man. I just think the Bills, like I said, as much as I hate to do it, the Bills, it just seems like it's their time. I don't know if they win the Super Bowl, but I just think that this the story would be the Chiefs winning, and Kelsey riding off into the sunset after winning the third. I just don't think that it's gonna happen this way. So give me the Bills winning outright.
Wow, nice. Yeah, man, we're gonna disagree here, man. I'm going Kansas City, man. I really like that Kansas City secondary, man. The way they play ball, that D line's pretty good. I know the Bills O line is good as well, but when you got a secondary and a D line like that, man, it's just hard for me to go against. Plus, you got the coaches on your side. You've been here before. Andy Reid's been there 1,000 times. Pat Mahomes been there. I just feel like Kansas City, they got the quarterback and they got a solid defense, man. I really love the way that the cornerbacks man up. So I know the Bills don't have much, a receiver like that one receiver, but they got cornerbacks too. So I think they match up well. You don't got to be a superstar cornerback to shut those receivers down. Kincaid might have a big show. I'm thinking that he might have a big game for them, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's gonna be enough. Cook is a problem, but at the end of the day, again, I'm just lean on the better coach team, the better quarterback, and that to me, in my opinion, is Kansas City. So give me Kansas City giving 1.5 to the Bills.
Kansas City giving 1.5 to the Bills. I'm not gonna bet this game. I can't bet this game. I have no clue what to do with this Chiefs team or this Bills team, because the Bills have continued to surprise me and the Chiefs have continued to surprise me too. I don't really have a strong lean either way. Like I feel like the obvious lean is the Chiefs, but it feels too obvious to me. And whenever it feels too obvious, I'm always kind of like, I don't know. It feels like everything is kind of going their way. Maybe not so much. All the statistics, Pat Mahomes in the playoffs, as a dog or as a favorite of 6 or less, obviously he's undefeated. The only loss is the Bengals AFC Championship game where I'm pretty sure he was concussed, but we won't get into that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take the Chiefs.
Shit. Okay.
I said before I'm gonna take the picks that I could live with them if I lose. I'm not gonna be mad if I take Pat Mahomes at home. And you know what? I need to stop saying that, because I was thinking to myself while I was watching the games over the weekend, the defaulting to associating all the Chiefs' success to Pat Mahomes, I'm going to stop that. I'm going to stop with the whole Mahomes this, Mahomes that. Like, Mahomes is great. I love Mahomes. But what the Chiefs are now really don't got shit to do with Mahomes. Not that it don't got shit to do with him, but he's not putting them on his back. Not the way Josh Allen is, or not the way he had in the past. Their team as a team is getting it done. Like, the defense is getting it done. They're finding a way. The coaching staff is putting them in good positions. I mean, Mahomes really hasn't done shit for a while. So I don't really want to keep on just throwing out there the defaulting to Mahomes. I feel like I have just gotten so conditioned to just talking about the Chiefs in that type of way that I just kind of default to that. But like, when I was sitting there thinking about the shit over the weekend, I'm like, the reality is it's not just, oh, Mahomes is going to do this, Mahomes is going to do that. Like, yeah, I believe in him. And if the moment comes in a big game, I trust him to make the play. He's done it. But as far as just talking about the games, I don't want to keep talking about just acting as though it's Mahomes, he's just carrying the Chiefs, because that's just not the reality, and we know football better than that. So, anyway, my bad. I didn't mean to go off on a tangent like that. I just caught myself, and I'm like, I remember that I had that thought over the weekend. I was like, I don't want to keep doing that shit because it's a stupid, lazy fucking thing to say if you just say it too much. So, so I just feel like I could live with. I could live with taking the champs if they taking the champs, given only 1.5. If they get beat, they get beat. If it's Allen's year, if it's the Bills' year to go, then it's the Bills' year to go. If they get it done, they get it done. But until that day comes, until Sunday comes, and I see the sad look on the Chiefs' faces, and I see Josh Allen celebrating the trip to the Super Bowl. Until I see it, I gotta stick with the champs. I remember thinking last year after they won the Super Bowl, I was like, yo, these motherfuckers they were already locked in on this 3-peat. They were talking about this shit on the fucking podium while the confetti was fucking falling last year this time. They weren't even celebrating that Super Bowl. They were already thinking about the 3-peat. And I just feel like they've been on a mission. They checked all the boxes. They wanted to get that first round bye. They got it done by hook or by crook. And this Chiefs team, that it just feels to me like, it's two kind of warring tides. It's like it's the Bills' momentum, and they're feeling like it's kind of their year, and they're just sort of like this team of destiny type of feeling. Is that gonna win the day, or is it gonna be the fucking Chiefs and their quest for the lonely first ever before 3-peat? Are we gonna get another rematch for the 3-peat of Eagles and Chiefs? I don't know, but I gotta go Chiefs. Only given 1.5. I gotta go Chiefs just because I trust the coaching. Obviously, we've seen them done it before, and I think they're the better team. They might not be the better team on Sunday, but I'll take the better team and I'll live with the result. So I'll take the Chiefs. I'll give the 1.5.
Wow. Okay.
But anyhow, we shall see how it goes. We shall see what happens, and then it's off to the off season. Then we got to figure out what Joe Shane has in store for the off season. What kind of moves? Who's gonna be on off season Hard Knocks this year?
Right.
We got to see what Aaron Glenn is gonna do. Who the GM of the Jets is gonna be. Is Saleh gonna be in Jacksonville? He's gonna be right there.
Actually, in the last few minutes, Saleh's going back to 49ers.
Is he really?
Oh, word?
Yeah.
I'm hearing McCarthy.
According to Michael
49ers as what? Head coach?
as a defensive scapegoat.
That seems like that's what they all do out there.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like the Jets defensive coordinator is gonna be his previous job was 49ers defensive scapegoat.
That was crazy. Losing the Super Bowl, but nigga said, and it's showing up because there's always something.
Listen,
with the 49ers.
As long as my guy Steve Wilkos is back, I'm happy, man. You bring me Steve Wilkos, that's the next best thing too. I wanted my guy Rex Ryan, but the next best thing is if I get to watch the Steve Wilkos show right after Jerry Springer. Start throwing niggas out of here.
You are a horrible, horrible human being and a terrible mother, and I hope you rot in hell and Sunday jail. Get the hell off my stage!
Well, until next week, sayonara.